Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you how to crochet for absolute beginners. Watching this video will give you the most basic knowledge of beginning crochet. So today's lesson will be on how to crochet a foundation chain and how to work a single crochet. Before we begin, let me introduce the most common general crochet abbreviations. Today as we will be studying chain and single crochet, CH means chain and SC means single crochet. And let's begin. Welcome to lesson 1. Everyone has their own personal way of holding the hook and controlling the yarn in crochet. Most crocheters hold the hook as shown in the picture, as if it were a pencil, with the thumb and forefinger over the flat section of the hook. The other hand holds the work and the same time controls the yarn supply. Almost all crochet starts with a base or foundation chain. This is the equivalent of casting on in knitting. The base chain is a series of chain stitches which normally begin with a loop sequenced by a slip knot. To make a slip knot, make a loop, hook another loop through it, tighten gently and slide the knot up to the hook. There are other techniques of making slip knots. You can use anything you're comfortable with. Here I will show you once again on how to make a slip knot. Make a loop, insert the hook into the loop and grab the yarn and pull it through the loop and tie it gently and slide the knot up to the hook. And here is another technique. Make a loop using your fingers and grab the yarn through the loop and tie it gently and make a slip knot. Now I have shown you how to make a slip knot, and that is the most basic stitch of crochet. Next I will show you how to make a foundation chain. Now make a slip knot, insert your hook into the loop and be ready to work the foundation chain. In general crochet abbreviations, a chain is known as CH. You can hold the hook in any comfortable way you like, as everyone has their own personal way of holding the hook and controlling the yarn. And here begins the step 1. Wrap the yarn over the hook in an counterclockwise direction and draw the yarn through to form a new loop without tightening the previous one. You can continue the same method to make some more chains. Yarn over the hook, draw the yarn through to form a new loop. Here successfully we have made 2 chains. Continue the same method and make some more chains, as we need a long foundation chain to start the other round. In the other round we will be studying the next basic stitch, which is called as single crochet, and in general crochet abbreviations we call a single crochet as SE. completed a foundation chain, and this is the length I'm going to use to teach you how to work on a single crochet. Insert the hook into the second chain from the hook. Wrap the yarn over the hook and draw the yarn through the work. Wrap the yarn again and draw it through both loops. And here one single crochet made. And once again, insert the hook into the work and wrap the yarn over the hook and draw the yarn through the work. And then wrap the yarn again and draw it through the both loops. And this is how one single crochet is made. Continue this method to the end of the foundation chain, which means work single crochets continuously to the end. You must be half thinking why I'm advising you to yarn over the hook while crocheting. And here's the reason. If you do not yarn over and try to pull the yarn through the loop just like this, simply you will end up of being unable to pull the yarn through the loops. So this is why you need to yarn over the hook to work any stitches in crochet. So you yarn over the hook and pull the yarn through the loops. It's much more easy. Now we have reached to the end of this row, and I will show you how to finish this row and start the other. Work one single crochet into the last chain. So this is how it looks like after finishing the first row, which means working single crochets on a foundation chain from the beginning to the end. At the end of each row, turn the work so that another row can be worked across the top of the previous one. Before the new row can begin, a turning chain must be worked to bring the hook up to the height of the stitches in the new row. As we have been working on single crochets, I will be chaining one to get the height. The turning chain may also count as the first stitch in the new row. In this case, keep the first stitch in the previous row. Continue working single crochets to the end of the row. To make each stitch, insert the hook under the two loops of each stitch in the previous row. And now we have reached to the end of the second row. Work a stitch into the top of the previous turning chain when you reach the end of the row. However, if the turning chain does not count as a stitch, work into the first stitch of the beginning of the row but not in the top of the previous turning chain at the end. This is how it looks like after completing 3 rows. Now I'm going to work a stitch into the top of the previous turning chain. Follow the same instructions as the row 2 and the row 3 to the other rows you are going to work. So here we are going to begin the 4th row. Follow the instructions same as the previous row. And here we are at the end of the fourth row. Just like you worked on the previous row, work a stitch into the top of the previous turning chain. In case if you didn't work a stitch into the top of the previous turning chain, instead you work a stitch into the single crochet of the previous row, you will end up having crooked borders of your crocheted work. I will work 3 or 4 more rows to show you how a finished work will look like, and also I will teach you how to fasten off a stitch at the end. Once again, I would like to remind that working on the single crochet of the previous row is just not enough. If you work on the single crochet of the previous row and straight away you turn your work and start working on the other row, you will end up having crooked borders of your work. So this is why I advise you to stitch into the top of the previous turning chain when you reach the end of the row. I will see you at the end after completing 3 or 4 more rows so that I can teach you how to finish this off. We have reached to the end of our crochet fabric, so I'm going to show you how to fasten off, which means cutting the yarn away. chain 1, simply cut the yarn leaving a few inches of tail. Then with your hook, draw the tail through the loop on your hook and tie it gently. So this is how our crocheted fabric looks like. You will see that there are no any crooked borders too. So from today's lesson, I have showed you how to crochet a foundation chain, a single crochet, and how to crochet without any crooked borders and fasten off. Hope you studied something from this video. And also don't forget to subscribe my channel and be tuned to watch Crochet for Absolute Beginners Lesson 2. Thank you for watching.